Welcome to Vib3sTV, music for the masses, you guys. What's happening? It's Vaughn Joseph in the house today. Guess what's going on? I thought I had all kinds of people who are going to be sitting in with me on the studio today to do this amazing interview with these guys I got all the way from Chicago, and it's just me today. How special is that? It's all me. So, Private Instigators, you guys probably saw their video on The Only Way Is Linda last week. We premiered that stuff. It was amazing. Big reaction from that type of stuff. So guess what? I had to get them on the show. So that's what's going on. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Private Instigators, stay tuned.
Sphincter, which is so made short of you as a prize. You're too pretty for prison. You're too pretty for prison. Too pretty for prison, but you ain't too pretty for me. You're too pretty for prison. You're too pretty for prison. You're too pretty for prison, but you ain't too pretty for me.
Welcome back, guys, to Vib3sTV. I've got with me Private Instigators all the way from Chicago. Yes, I'm in London. Yeah, I know it's an American accent. Shut up. So what? Who cares? I'm from Detroit, where I'm going tomorrow. But what's going on? I got these guys from Chicago. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing pretty great. Splendid.
Splendid. There's not enough use of the word splendid, I don't think. So, introduce yourselves. I know who you guys are, but tell the people who you are.
You first? My name is Dominic. I am the guitarist of Private Instigators and backup vocalist.
I'm Keith. I'm the bassist and lead vocalist, also of Private Instigators, obviously.
Excellent, excellent. So how long have you guys been playing together?
About 4 years, I think, give or take.
Sure.
Something like that.
Yeah?
Time kind of gets wibbly-wobbly, you know.
How did you guys get interested in playing punk music? Because I grew up in, I don't know how old you guys are, it's not important, but I grew up in the in the mid to late 80s with punk music, The Exploited, Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, things like that. So that was my core base for music. What was your inspiration to decide to be a punk band?
Well, neither of us really listen to anything current most of the time. I've gotten a little better about it, but for most of my life, all I've ever listened to is, Elvis and the Ramones and Bo Diddley and Little Richard and Sly and the Family Stone. Oh, just anything that came out after about 1978, I generally wasn't really interested.
Well, I always liked oldies for a long time, like Chuck Berry and early Beach Boys, things like that. And then one day in school, I decided I wanted to get along with everybody else and see what everyone else was listening to. And at that time, it was Green Day and Pearl Jam and all these, like Alice in Chains. And I only liked Green Day. And then I read who influenced them, and it was the Ramones. And amongst other bands like 999 and Stiff Little Fingers. I won't completely get into all that. And so I liked all that stuff. Then so, who influenced them? And then it was all the stuff from 20 years ago, like 20 years before that. And I was like, why did I ever stop listening to this stuff? So I started listening to my favorite stuff all over again. And then instead of listening to something that everyone in high school listened to, would be like, oh, My Friends Over You. It's like, oh, these are relationship songs. I didn't have a relationship. I didn't have a girlfriend to complain about. So I started listening to Black Flag and listening to those lyrics. I was like, whoa, this is for me. I can totally connect with this stuff, and I still can to this day. So I was like, this is the band for me. And luckily, a few of them got back together, and I got the pleasure of seeing them and jumping in the pit and having other people's blood on my shoes. But that's why, because I had a connection with what they were saying, how they were playing, and nothing's ever hit me quite like that stuff has.
Right.
You know, talking Black Flag, Dominic actually became friends with Des Cadena, and on our last tour, the last night of the tour, we decided that we wanted to come home right after the show. It was like 15-hour drive or whatever it was. So after the last show, we went over to Dez's house, took some showers, hung out. Dominic had some chicken soup or something, and then
Stew.
And then we got back into the van and drove back to Chicago.
It was like, was this 1982? It's like, we need a shower. Let's just call up somebody from Black Flag and use their shower and play with their dog, and then hit the road and try to get out of New Jersey without, I don't know.
Incident.
Yes.
Yeah.
Without something to make the headlines. So
It's usually a lot more fun when you have some sort of local incident which makes the morning paper. But if you made it out of there without there being any drama, that's always good. So you guys got a new album out right now, right?
That's right. It's called The Case Files of the Private Instigators Reopened. It's out on Prizefighter Records. You can go to prizefighterrecords.com and pick it up.
Do you find like most of the albums have a similar theme, or do you guys try to theme them differently for each album that you put out?
it depends how miserable our personal lives are.
That's very true.
So I guess you should hope that things go bad for us so we can keep writing good music. That's just how it goes. Like,
that seems to be like the best way for like most musicians. If things are going great for them, they put out some very mainstream stuff and it ends up flopping on the charts and it's just completely uninspired. And then it takes like a nice shitty relationship coming to an end or something, and then they write all these amazing lyrics or something like that and they put out this killer album.
This is true. Keith said something funny to me about 2 years ago. I'll never forget. And he said that polite musicians aren't really good musicians. He's like, you're an asshole.
Well-adjusted musicians, generally speaking. This was actually something I was talking about recently, where you find somebody like let's use the Red Hot Chili Peppers as an example, right? Their earlier albums were just wild and really fun to listen to, and then they cleaned up and started releasing like the same album over and over, and it was very bland and it didn't have any of the like lunacy that they had before. Or Elton John, right? Elton, who I love, right? But Elton's early stuff, when he was pretending to be straight, he got married to a woman, he was back to the nines on cocaine all the time, he was dressed like Donald Duck. where this huge sun, like there were things wrong with this guy, and he was being bitchy as hell to everybody. And then like he goes to therapy, gets cleaned up, it comes out as gay, and all of a sudden is releasing like the Lion King soundtrack, which I was just kind of on. And you know, it's
Terrible movie. Terrible movie.
the soundtrack was really what I had the problem with. I mean, Hamlet is Hamlet, you know, but it's just a lot of the stuff. The album he did with Leon Russell a couple years ago was really good, though, and I think that was because of Leon.
And well, like that one song, "Don't Worry, Be Happy." I always forget who does it.
Bobby McFerrin.
Yes, and that was at a really bad time in that guy's life. And every time I'm really low, that's what I listen to, and it always makes me feel great. So it's kind of funny how opposite things happen, at least amongst my point of view.
That is the worst song ever, dude. I'm sorry. I'm glad at least it brings a smile to your face.
Well, you've never heard One Direction, then.
No, anything that has to do with little boys, whether it be music or otherwise, I tend to shy away from that. It's part of my parole. So, yeah. So, how many CDs do you guys have out right now?
Two.
Yeah.
2, and one's not even in press anymore. So if you can find our EP, it will be it's gonna be a collector's item because we're not making them anymore.
Yeah.
We've also got a Christmas single that you can get on our Bandcamp site. It's called "Please Don't Kill Yourself This Christmas."
Save it for Shabbos.
Don't save it for Shabbos. Don't do it at all. We're actually donating a portion of the proceeds to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So anytime somebody buys the Christmas song, it helps people.
So
if
what's
that
up?
song could do for others like the first Suicidal Tendencies album did for me, there's going to be a lot more pulse rates in this world.
Wow, the first Suicidal Tendency out. That was a self-titled CD, wasn't it? Or actually, it was.
Yep.
I had the tape. That's how old I am. I didn't have CDs.
Oh,
I had you guys have a record release party coming up on the 26th. Is that when it is?
That's right. This upcoming Saturday here in Chicago at a place called Martyrs. It's a great venue, and I'm really looking forward to playing there. One of my very favorite live albums of all time is called Chris Whitley Live at Martyrs, and I'm excited to be playing at the same place that Chris Whitley played at. Pete Townsend recorded a live album there too. Yeah,
Didn't know that.
that's not a great live album. I mean, Pete's done a lot better, but
He still did it.
still did it right. So you know, I get to take the stage where Pete Townsend once took the stage. I'm very excited about it.
No,
And
that's massive.
I used to go there time and time again for this like big C jamboree, which was a rockabilly jamboree. Loved it, played it a few times. Liked the music, didn't really like the people. And I always wore I purposely wore an NWA shirt there all the time because I knew everyone was going to look like they were out of Grease or Crybaby. So I was like, yeah, this isn't really rebellion if you're all going to dress the same. So that's what I would do. And someone else caught on and started wearing Slayer shirts to this rockabilly thing, and I thought it was kind of funny. And at that time, I kind of quit going, but it was great, and I can't wait to go back.
Yeah, another fun thing for me from Martyrs. Vaughn, you're so you've heard of Wesley Stacy?
You broke up a second there. Say again.
I'm not sure if you've heard of Wesley Stace.
No.
The British folk singer, sometimes goes by John Wesley Harding. And when I was underage, I got to go see Wes at Martyrs, and I ended up becoming friends with him. And so every time he would come to town while I was underage, I would go sell CDs for him and get into what shows at whatever venue I wasn't allowed in otherwise. It was pretty great.
No, that's epic, dude. I love that.
Yeah, good guy.
So this is for the new CD, obviously. What's happening next with you guys? And obviously, you've got the new CD coming out. What are the plans for the future for Private Instigators?
We got a tour for 2 weeks. That's the next step. Heading down toward Nashville.
Try to take over the world. Well, we have a Southern tour coming up. Small one, Indianapolis, Louisville, Kentucky, and Nashville, Tennessee. And cannot wait. That'll be fun.
And then we're planning another music video. The label has been talking to us about, which song do we want to use. I'm not sure. I think we're doing You're a Creep next.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But
another video. So.
But next year we're planning on being on the road for a long period of time, not just for like 3 days at a time, but we'd like to be on there for weeks at a time. I'm still working on trying to get us on a Warped Tour for next year, and maybe more than that. And it just it never ends. The work never ends.
Yeah, we've been working on a new batch of songs that say we've got maybe about 6 or 8 new songs. Not 100% sure if those are all good enough for whatever the next record is, but at the very least, we've got a basis for the next record, and we can kind of go from there. We actually were struggling with the newest one because it's really catchy, and we think that it's very radio friendly, except for the fact that the title is "I Want You to Fuck Off."
Well, if it worked for CeeLo Green, it could work for us, but
we've been trying to come up with things that work instead, right? And people have been giving us all these suggestions like Get Lost, Shove Off, Go Home, Pound Sand. Pound Sand was my favorite, but none of them work.
You can say Piss Off. That's a very English term, though.
Yeah, but you can't really say piss on the radio.
You can't. What do you mean you can't? My friend had a punk band named Pissant.
And how was their radio play?
Massive, actually. They were back in the day. They're actually coming back together. Josie Cat and all those guys. They're going to be playing over here in England hopefully next year. But yeah, do go for it. I mean, they might try and.
You're breaking up.
They might try and give you a little bit of a hassle, but come on, what can they do with half the crap that's on the radio now? And if you're going to say "piss" as the title of a song, I mean, come on, give me a break.
Yeah, I personally feel there's this great video that I found from Billy Connolly, the Scottish comedian, who's talking about the phrase "fuck off" and how you can't really translate it, but you don't need to. Like if you're in Laos Airport in Tibet, or Lhasa Airport in Tibet, and a shaved-headed monk with the saffron robes comes up and is messing with your bags, and you say to him, "Fuck off!" He knows exactly what you meant. Off, he will fuck. You don't need to translate it. And the problem is, there's nothing that really has that same punch. Anything else, it's just there's the that leads into it, and that sharp at the end, and it's like audibly
perfect.
Visceral.
I like piss. Piss.
It's like backwards to me because it starts with the sharp consonant.
So, what you want to say? Sip off.
Sip off. Oh,
sorry.
That's something that you guys will obviously need to work out in future rehearsals and things of that nature. So we are out of time. We thank you guys for coming in and or coming on and saying hey and telling me all about fuck off and your release and all that stuff. You guys check out Private Instigators. You guys, where can people find you if they want to check out your music?
Let's see. You could go to prizefighterrecords.com, which is our label. You could go to private-instigators.com, which is our website. You could find us on Twitter and Instagram with P Instigators. You can find us on Tumblr, private-instigators.tumblr.com. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Private Instigators. Snapchat, we're also P Instigators.
Or you can find us at a show.
Finding us at a show is the best place to find us.
Find us at a show. I love it. Private Instigators, you guys, check them out. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
If you ain't careful, you'll be doing